Hi. Good morning, good afternoon, welcome. How you doing, you beautiful bastard?
I'm fine.
Yes, you are.
It looks like you just woke up.
I didn't. I asked you if I should do something about my hair, and you said you look like a maniac. I said, well, fuck it, let's go then.
I know. Did you go to your barber and said, "I'll take that. I've given up. I'll take that. I'll take a I given up haircut." Is that what that is? It looks
No,
nice.
actually, I did go to the barber, but he just plugged me into the wall. Like, "Arr, you're done. See, it's fixed.
Yeah.
The best part is this. Look at this. I like that.
Oh yeah, you could
Isn't
be
that
in
neat?
you could be in the Misfits because you're like you look like an aging rocker. It's perfect.
This is the mark of the beast, Mephistopheles.
Yeah.
Like fucking McDonald's over here. I'm advertising.
That's
fuck it.
isn't that kind of how like Buffalo Bill's hair was? Like he's got that like.
Fuck off. You wanna come inside? No, I don't want to fucking come inside. Oh shit. It puts the lotion in the basket. I love the way he says that. It's so fucking disturbing the way he says that.
I know.
And then to see him in anything else. He's been in other movies. I just still see that guy saying that. Put the lotion in the fucking basket. So frustrated. I wonder if he was like practicing that line in his apartment before the movie shot. And people are like, what the fuck is he doing in there?
Like, I mean, that's probably how the whole movie came about. It was just some guy dressed in drag saying that. And they're like, we need to make a movie around what this guy is.
Oh, no.
And all of a sudden, he's got a mediocre career for years and years and years.
Listen, he really knew how to start a conversation with women, though. He'd be like,
Tell you.
are you a size 6? Like, that's a pretty good way to start a conversation about them. You know?
Yeah.
Let's talk about you.
Yeah, let's talk about the thing that you're probably insecure about. Let's do that. How about that?
Can you help me move this chair?
Yeah.
My arm's broken. I got a busted wing. I love that movie. So, yeah, thanks for complimenting me. I look like a fucking serial killer. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, you look good.
Gonna go put my kimono on and dance around and tuck my penis. Goodbye, horses.
Well, first you gotta untuck your penis and tuck it back because isn't it already tucked right now? Usually,
No,
naturally.
It's so small when it's sad and soft that there's nothing to tuck. It's just
well,
just
naturally. That's what I mean. It's naturally tucked. It's like a sea anemone or whatever. Right?
No, I belong in the book of records. Yeah, it's not bad.
Speaking of books, what's the name of this podcast?
It's the future. This is the future.
Unfortunately. All right, you said it.
Alex saves the day with a fucking Hail Mary. I love it. That's why it takes two, man. Oh, yeah. Shit. So, if I sound hoarse, I honestly, I thought I broke my foot last night working the show I worked.
Oh, yeah?
I think the band was called Under Oath out of Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
And apparently they used to be Christian and now they're not or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was one of those bands where I was like, the people were like, oh, some of the lyrics are really strong. I was like, there were lyrics? Oh, Gotcha. Didn't hear any of it. But someone landed on me and I landed on my foot sideways. So I'm hobbling around today. And I sound like shit. Fun show.
It's kind of music I don't like. That music. Under Oath.
What is...
It's like screamo.
Well, it's not metal,
emo.
but there's screaming.
Yeah. There's metal elements. Like it's like screamo or metalcore is like the genre that it exists in. Yeah, screamo. That's like a real
I'm hoarse, and I wasn't even. I guess you just get hoarse when you go to shows like that. Guy's screaming so much, I got hoarse.
Yeah,
that's what happened. It's fucking weird.
It's just like it's the kind of music that back in the day, like they wore that like swoop haircut, kind of like you know, and then like wore like red eyeliner and stole their sister's pants. You know, like I don't know. It's fine. To each your own. You're fucking whatever. You know. There was
so many people coming over the barricade. I thought it was a zombie invasion.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I mean,
I'm serious.
we all know I'm little. I don't belong up there. And I was catching like 40%. There were 6 of us back there. It's just like, shit, here comes another one. It's like, good God.
I have a question. This is like an honest question. I'm curious. So you were there and you saw the audience. You saw what they look like. So that music, when it first came out, it was like their like main demographic. I would say, I would guess, maybe I'm wrong, but I would guess it'd be anywhere from like 15 years old to 25. That I would say that would be their age when they first came out. When they first started, like that was like, like teeny bopper music kind of. And I would say like there was probably that 10-year, 15 to 25. I'm guessing.
Right.
So my question is, did the audience look like it was those people that listened to it during that time, and then they grew up and now they're 35 to 40 or 30 to 40 years old? Or was there some really young, like 18-year-old, 21-year-old people in there that were like getting into it for the first time and filling that gap of between 15 and 22, something like that?
No. I would say the majority, I'd say 80% were the first group at 35 to 40, listened to them 20 years ago. This was a 20th anniversary tour, and this is what people wanted to hear. They basically, the band, I think, is only touring. They were shocked that they could sell 2 nights out. The way they put it, they were like, we can't believe people still want to hear this shit.
Like, we don't.
Well, I mean, more or less. I mean, that's what I wouldn't envy about being in a screamo band when I'm 40-something years old. You know, I mean, I don't. I would wish I was in a jam band if I was going to go for 60 years, like the Dead. Versus, like, I wouldn't want to have to do that shit. But they're like, hey, they did ask. They said, is there any younger people in here? And they did have some minors, that parents who brought their kids.
Okay, so that's.
But it's not like they were. No, anyone that was. I would just say honestly, it was mostly people that liked them 20 years ago.
Right.
That's what it looked like to me. But they sold out 2 nights, so there's enough people. You know.
Okay, because I remember. This is a person that you and I know that we have brought up on this show many times, but Derek, him and I went to, by just us two, went to a show at the Crystal Ballroom here in Portland. It was, who was it? It was, Soul Asylum was playing, Everclear was the headliners. That was like the show and then, Eve 6 opened. And I only went because he texted me that day. He's like, I have a spare ticket. What are you doing? I'm like, well, I don't really like any of those bands, but I'm down to hang out, you know. So I went. But when I was a kid, I liked Eve 6. Me and my friend Jesse used to do high kicks off his parents' couch to Eve 6. You know, Hard in the Blender, Rendezvous with You, that fucking bullshit. And they played, and I was looking around, and I was probably only like 26 at the time, or 26 or 28 years old at the time of seeing Eve 6. And by the way, I've seen Eve 6 probably like 3 times.
Nerd.
Yeah. And I was kind of looking around, and there was like a sea of 15-year-olds behind us at that show. So I didn't. So the reason why I asked that question about Under Oath is because there was a new crop of 15-year-old, 16-year-old kids that liked Eve 6. But I liked Eve 6 when I was 15 or 16. And they were like little babies. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I just like didn't know if there was like all of a sudden a new crop that just took over that spot. You know?
Right. And well, here's the thing. The bands wonder the same thing. That's why they're asking these questions. They all ask these questions. How many of you have seen us before? They're not asking that to shoot the shit. They're asking from a business perspective. How many people do we have in here that we've already hooked versus how many new people have we brought in? It's it really is. I was standing right there in front of the stage like, yeah, not a lot of new viewers, man. Yeah. You're feeding your old crowd, which is good. They showed up for you, you know, right on. One of the opening bands from Portland said, hey, we hope like that we fucking have an album 20 years later that people want to come hear. Mm-hmm. That's awesome that you can, you know, it was appreciated for sure. They were happy to do it. But yeah, I mean, it was a rough fucking night for us working there. There was fights.
Yeah, yeah.
There was fights. It was nuts. I had to escort a few people out. Like people were like, "You're the one girl." She's like, "You're a goat." I was like, "What?" She's like, "You're a goat," and I was like, "Ah." She was like, "She's like, you're the greatest." I was like, "Okay, whatever." I was like, "Want to bet on this side of the wall? It sucks."
Yeah.
Honestly, this morning I woke up and I was like, the fuck am I doing? I don't belong down there. Everyone I work with is like, you're in your 40s? I'm like, yeah. What the fuck am I doing in here? Like, I should be watching. Like,
Yeah,
hey, get that guy. Like, I shouldn't be the one going to get that guy.
Yeah, yeah. You should be like, I should be your boss. That kind of thing.
I put myself in front of two larger humans that were fighting. One of them was a very angry and offended female. I didn't do the offending. I just saw what happened, and then 30 seconds later, I'm starfished in between them like this. And I was like, kinky. I just looked her right in, like we were touching nose to nose. I was like, I'm security, and we're leaving together. And yeah. She was like, okay, and I just starfished her ass right. I just kept my arms out and walked her. It wasn't her fault, but she left too. It was like, listen, get the fuck out. But anyway, how have you been?
I've been fine. I had to kick someone out of my work last night. That was fun.
What? You work at a fucking pinball machine place? What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's alcohol. We sell alcohol, so people fucking act a fool all the time. Like,
but you're Chef Boyardee. You're in the back. What are you doing? Kicking people out? Because
the bartenders always go, hey, you're big and sweaty. Come scare these people that are scaring me. That's happened the whole time I've been cooking. Like, they just go, help! And then a cook has to come out and be like, I'm crazy in here, what do you want? Like, spatula. You don't know how many times I've came out of a kitchen with a greasy spatula and be like, if you don't leave, this is going in your head. This is going up the side of your head. Like, it's been many times. This time, it was like a weird circumstance. There's 2 bathrooms. One toilet is down because a patron flushed one of their vapes down the toilet, I guess. I guess that's what happened. I don't know.
They weren't happy about that.
No, I think they were just trying to. I think they were just trying to quit. Like,
I hate you.
Gotta flush bad habits down the drain. So there's one door it's clearly marked out of order, like with 2 different signs and tape over the door. It's like basically blinking, because toilet shit breaks. You got to fix it, and you can't always fix it in the moment. That's life, and so it's clearly marked, fucking broken. Like fucking anyone broken. Can see.
Is that what it said? Fucking broken.
Fucking broken. If I had to make the sign, and that's why I didn't, that's exactly what it would say. Fucking broken.
Yes. You need to make signs.
Probably misspelled and looked like a little kid wrote it in crayon.
That's great. That's a t-shirt. That's our t-shirt.
Fucking broken. It'd be like...
Fucking broken. Fucking broken. Like Canadians.
Yeah. So, there was a homeless person, that's usually who has to get kicked out and do it nicely. It's like they're just people that, come off the street and wander in, and if you're not paying, you can't hang out there, you can't use the bathroom. Like, if you need a glass of water, you need to sit down for a second. That will be nice. But, if you just run into the bathroom, 9 times out of 10, we know what they're doing. And you kind of have to ask them to leave. You don't want to, So, but this person bought some food. And so they were a customer, treating them like a customer, hanging out. And they went to go use the bathroom. But what happened is they opened the door to the broken bathroom, the fucking broken one. And they just went in. There's signs and there's tape, but it's just tape. We can't lock the door from the outside.
Right.
So they went in. They used the toilet. Toilet's broken. So, long story short, is had to kick him out. They didn't listen the first time, and then I had to get a little gruffer. I wasn't mean to them or degrading them. It was just like, go now, go, leave, get out, like that sort of thing. Because like it's like Roadhouse rules. You know what I mean? You
be nice. So it's time to not be nice.
It's not to be nice. You be nice. But at this point in the night, we are actually closing. Like it's 10 minutes, or it's like 5 minutes past closing. Like we are like they're the only one in there besides the people that work there. Like get out. So
oh yeah,
nothing crazy happened, but it does happen at my work. It has, So
right, yeah,
but yeah, man. Speaking of music and also altercations,
yeah, perfect tie-in.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But Tony and I here went and saw Korn open for Gojira. We went to the Korn show at the Moda Center in Portland, and that joke was about how Gojira was one of the opening bands, and they did exactly what I knew they were going to do and blew everybody out of the goddamn water.
Right, and as I explained to someone at work, I said I went to see Korn and Gojira, and they were like, "How was the show?" And without even thinking, I just said, "Gojira was fucking awesome." Mm-hmm. And everyone that was around me at work just laughed because, obviously, I think someone asked me how was Korn. And I was like, Gojira was fucking awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
To that point, though, Alex brought up something. Korn is still really fucking good. I mean this. When they came on stage and played Adidas, especially, I lost my shit. I loved it. I really got into that song. They're still awesome. I still listen to them, but Gojira I've never seen him before. I've heard him because of the show, but I never dug in personally.
Right.
But and this is saying a lot. I got to say this because, and this will tie back into what we're going to talk about in a minute, but being on the end cap, or just being in the fucking row that we were in, we got up a lot.
Yeah.
Like every fucking song, a lot. I sat in the aisle more than I sat in the damn seat because I just sat in the stairs holding on to the railing watching the show because people kept coming up and going. With that being said, even though Gojira's set was interrupted like 15 fucking times for me, it was fantastic. And like each song, like it's like I don't know how to explain it, but like it's definitely metal, but a little bit almost not psychedelic, but still they can take you on a ride.
Yeah.
And each song is a little journey. Even though it's heavy, their lyrics are still like, you can hear them really well. You know what they're on about. Like, I really clean, just really fucking dialed in. It was a great show. Even with all the distractions, I was locked in on their set. With people walking by my ass, and I have ADD, and I'm still like, move the fuck out of the way. Oh, holy shit, this is cool. Like, I knew I was seeing something rad. And with Korn, it was cool to see them doing what they were doing, but they just weren't hitting that fucking mark. I had already had my mind blown, and now I was just like, all right, this is cool, but wow.
Well, there was a few things I took away from that whole show, and one of them was like, Gojira was one of the opening bands. They were second to last, and I was looking around at the Moda Center, which seats how many people?
Seven. I think it's 7,000 or more.
Okay, like when there's a show going on,
the Theater of the Clouds,
because there's a whole. It's not halfway cut off, but there is like an eighth of the arena that isn't being
Theater
used.
of the Clouds.
So, anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 people, I'm sure, were in there. Yeah. And when Gojira started, I looked around, and there wasn't an empty seat. Cool. It was everybody was like, "We're gonna watch Gojira." And for an opening band, that's usually people are still getting their reasonably priced beers and their really good cheeseburgers and all that, and then waiting, in and out. But everybody was like watching Gojira, and I don't know. I just gotta say, like, Korn played and it was fine. Wasn't as good as Gojira, but they really lacked in one area, and that was next time if they go on another big tour like this, they need to get a not so good opening band. They need to get a band that isn't. I don't think anyone ever listened to them. Did any of the members of Korn be like, "What is Gojira like? Let's listen to a video. How popular are they?" Did they just win the Olympics? Did they just win the Olympics? They won the Olympics. You know what I mean?
They got a gold medal.
Yeah, like they did. The Korn did a very bad job of picking a band. They should have picked a band that wasn't better than them in every way. On their records, they're better. Live, they're better. They just, they don't realize that. Like, yeah, there's some bands that could top them.
I would agree with you. Like I said, I'll be honest with you. Like when you were like, "Hey man, do you want to go to this show?" And you were like, Korn and Gojira. I thought to myself, it'll be cool to hang out with Alex. Like,
yeah, right.
I'm being honest because I didn't know Gojira very well. I mean, I'm at the point in my life where I'm listening to the Allman Brothers and smoking dope because that's where I'm at. So, it was honestly like I didn't know what to expect, and that was really great because they kicked ass. I was like, holy shit, these guys are worth paying attention to. Like, and I've been listening to them ever since. I put the set list together that night. I pulled it up, put it all together, have it on my phone, been listening to it ever since. Great gym music. And I want to point one out. This is part of the story. When I was watching them, they had a song that really put the fucking hook in me. And it kind of took off from there. And it wasn't one that you and I talked about or anything, but let me grab the set list I put together here. Damn it. Excuse me. Gojira. Here we go. They played, they have this song, Another World. And the video to that is basically the idea is they're getting off this planet. And they're going to find another world because this shit sucks. And it wasn't just the song. It was the whole thing. The show, the song, the environment. That is what put the hook in me. And I remember when he said, this song is called Another World. I was like, lock that name in. As soon as we're done tonight, play that song. And I was like, I'll just get the set list. But if they don't post the set list, I know I need to hear this song. So from that song on, I was locked in on the rest of the set. But for some reason, it was just that one. I was like, this is why, like, this is it. This is the reason I'll listen to all of Gojira's shit because of this hook right here. It's just that one song took me in. It was really great. That does not happen very often. Where you go to see the headliner and the opener hooks you and you're like, oh shit, I'm going to go buy their shirt. That's literally what I did. I went and bought the opener shirt and I was like, yeah, Korn's cool, whatever. I got stories about them from 21 years ago. It doesn't matter, but they had their place. And now I'm more like, I'm into this. This is where I'm at now with my metal. It's not Korn. This is where I'm at. Because it has a lot of fucking meaning. Gojira has a point. Literally, they have a point. They're like, hey, man, like this guy's been locked up for fucking the Greenpeace and all this shit. Yeah. Like, they have reasons, but they have messages. And my point, I love that shit. So they hooked me 100%. Fucking seriously awesome band. I know they're one of your favorites, and I'm like, hey, thanks for showing me this band. It's fucking great. Now I want to go see them again. Like, I'm trying to figure out where they're at.
Right. They're a band that like is they do two things. They could still stay in the like legit metal scene. Yep. Like most of like the metal community and metalheads like Gojira, except for the last album that I was mad at Gojira for that album. It's a terrible album. Okay. That album I was really mad. I was like, fuck you, Gojira. You broke my heart. And then they did the Olympics, and I was like, okay, they made up for it. And but they have a thing where they could stay in the metal community, and metalheads like them. And then they could also kind of go mainstream, kind of at the same thing, where people that necessarily don't like metal a whole lot or aren't really exposed to it at all could be like, yeah, Gojira is awesome. So they kind of have this like double-edged sword where they could like dip their toes into both pools. Except for the new album. The new album fucking blows. But there's still... it blows. God, it blows goddamn asshole. Fucking sucks. Oh God, can't even think about it. But they still fucking rule live, and that's the thing I got to remind myself is they've been a band since '96, right? Like that's 30 years. Like they've been a band for a long, long fucking time.
Yeah,
and so they have probably like 8 albums, I'm guessing. They got one stinker. They're allowed. I guess I'll give them that. Too hard on them. They can have one shitty album. That next one better be fucking good, though. Frenchies, I'm telling you what. You better be good. I'm just saying. I'm just playing.
I was going to say, Alex has high hopes.
Yeah. I do.
Hey, man, there's bands that I go see that had 7 albums, and they have just enough for one good set. I'm like,
yeah,
woohoo!
I know. I know. I know what I'm saying. I know. I get it. All I'm saying is, God. Meshuggah doesn't have a bad album. They've been a band since 1985, 86. They haven't had one bad fucking song, one bad album. That's it. Gojira rules. They blew Korn out of the goddamn water. When I knew that they were when they were playing at the Moda Center, like before, it was like advertising like 6 months ahead of time or something like that. At first, I was like, "No, I'm not gonna go see that." And then Gojira played the Olympics. I was like, "All right, now I'm gonna go see it." And I was like, but I knew exactly what was gonna happen because every time, besides one time that I saw Gojira, I think I've seen them 4 times now. And every time I've seen them, besides one time, they were the opening band. And every single time, they blow the fucking headliner out of the fucking water. And I've only seen them one time when they were headlining.
Right.
But every time they're opening for someone, it's like, we could go home now. Gojira's done playing. We can leave because it's not going to get any better than that. And I knew what was going to happen. I knew that Korn wasn't going to, Korn is Korn. They were loud. They were heavy. Jonathan Davis was being Jack the Pumpkin King up there, all scary as spooky Jack-o'-lantern, like with a tracksuit on. Like it was cool. It just wasn't as good. That's it.
Right.
But it was nostalgic, and that's fun.
Well put. And the one thing that I noticed that was happening to all of us aging rockers, especially when you're in a stadium, and you want to express your passion for the music that's being played, but you don't want to stand up and move your body. You fucking chair mosh or whatever the fuck that is. We were all doing it, but it's like this shit in your seat. I almost hit the guy's head in front of me. Like we were both like doing this shit. And I was like, this is going to be a full on collision, but it wasn't. Thank God. Mm-hmm. If you've ever seen those evangelical videos of people like in church and the pastor's over here like doing his voodoo with his hands, and then they start flipping out in the chairs and shit, and the Holy Spirit's inside of them. That's exactly what the fucking Moda Center looked like, with everybody in. Looked like they were just being possessed by these rock stars as we're all twitching and shit.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being in a bird's eye view somewhere in that stadium and just being like, look, they're all having seizures. That's what it looked like.
I'm sure that is a thing. Someone that's like working the spotlight up in the the fucking scaffolding. It's like
these idiots.
It's like when they don't have a cue, they're just like, look at that fucking idiot. Look at that. Look at that.
It was great.
Speaking of idiots, your old boy Alex almost got in a fight that night.
Yeah. Alex did almost get into a fight.
Yeah. How about we do this? I'll tell what happened, and then if you want, you could say what you saw.
That's okay. Perfect, because I really didn't know what was going on.
Right.
So go ahead.
Okay. So there was 4 of us that went. Tony, me, and then two friends. And 4 of us. Tony was basically Tony and I were like bookending our group. It was like Tony was on the end. I was on the other side, so I was sitting next to someone I didn't know, obviously. And the person that I was sitting next to was with 2 other people, and they were all 3 hammered. Then they all looked like they were either like brewed beer for a living or worked on cars, or worked on cars because they cut the Cadillac converter out of them and sold them. Either way, yeah, there was beer and cars involved, I'm sure. They all 3 had really long beards that were like equal length, and they were like, I think all 3 of them just had like, just goatee, like 5 o'clock shadow, and then just goatee long, like that sort of like, but like, they're all like, probably, like 6 to 8 inches off their fucking face, long goatee beards. And the guy I was sitting next to was definitely the drunkest out of the 3.
Yeah.
When we first sat down, he was like bumping into me, kept on spilling a little bit of beer on my leg and arm, like even before the music started. And he's, oh, sorry. And I'm just like, hey man, keep your beer in your cup, like fucking. And then, so Gojira got done playing. And I think at the end of their set, his 2 friends, or they all 3 went and got beers. Or he went and got a beer because he had a full fucking large, like, stadium, like, 22-ounce full Coors Light, I'm sure. And
$30 beer, yeah.
Yeah. His 2 friends went to get up and probably go get their own beer. And I think he stood up to let him go by, and he's probably going to go with them. And as he stood up, after spilling beer on me for like the last 20 minutes, he stood up, and because he was so drunk, as he stood up too fast, and he took a header right into the people that were sitting directly in front of him and spilt his whole entire 24-ounce, 22-ounce beer on them and on my leg and foot, and it was like going into my shoe. So I got some of it too, like, but it went right on I saw it happen right on their heads. And they're either nice or pushovers because they just were like, didn't even say anything to him. They just like went, responsible is what the word I'm looking for is.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. They went in, cleaned themselves up and came back, I guess. And he sat down and he was drunk, and at least he was in his head reasonably. Like, he was like, oh fuck, I can't believe I did that up. But he was all like drunk and like, I'm fucked up, man. I can't believe that. And then he stood up to go get another beer. And before he went, I looked at him and I said, hey man, I know we don't know each other, but I want to keep it that way. So I don't think you should come back. I think you should leave or go do something else. I'm just letting you know, I'm not letting you sit next to me. One of your dumb friends could sit next to me. You are not sitting next to me. He's
Gotcha.
like, and then he said, okay, well, yeah, you got a point. We'll switch seats or something like that. He said something. He was drunk and stumbling over his words. And so he left. His friends were still gone. One of the people we were with, we all saw 2 people that we know. And me and this other guy that we were with know because they're regulars at our work, at the pinball place and pinball bar. And they were like an aisle away from us, but they were in the same row. And so as they left, I think our friend thought that those 3 idiots left for good because I told them, hey, I'm not letting that guy sit next to me. He could sit. One of the stupid friends could switch chairs, but I'm not sitting next to that idiot. So he invited the other 2 people over to sit next to us, and I was just like, I'm pretty sure they're coming back. But whatever, that's fine. Hopefully, hopefully it'll work out. It did not work out. The 3 idiots came back, and the person that came back first was the drunkest, the one that was spilt beer all over him. He came back, and I went up to him. I'm like, hey man, we had this conversation. I'm not letting you sit next to me. So either wait for your fucking friends to come back and they could sit one of them could sit next to me, but you're not fucking sitting next to me, just so you know. And he just goes, oh, okay. And then he fucking left. I don't know if he left the building, but he never came back. And then his two friends came up, and either because the music was really loud, they didn't want to understand me, or I wasn't making sense, or something like that. They didn't understand me when I said, I'm not letting your friend sit next to me. He could sit somewhere else. One of you could sit next to me. Let's do that. They thought I was telling them that they couldn't sit down in their seats. So they got all macho and weird. And by the way, I want to say, I know on paper, maybe I'm in the wrong, telling someone they can't sit in their own fucking seat, or they need a change. I get that. But I just didn't want any... The headlining band didn't even start, or barely just started. We're going to have more beer spilled on us, more idiots blowing their hot beard breath all over the side of my face. Like, I'm all about, like, what's right in the fucking world, not what's on paper. Like, what's right in the world is that idiot shouldn't be fucking allowed in the venue. You fucking do that, fucking you're out. You work security, like, get the fuck out. Like,
I agree.
But I do know maybe I overstepped a line a little bit because we're the same. We paid for the show. Like, I don't work there. So his two friends started to get a little hot towards me, and I kept on trying to tell them, no, go sit down. And the guy had said, no one's going to tell me if I can sit down or I can't sit down. And I was like, yeah, go sit down, man. He's like, I said no one can tell me if I can sit down or can't sit down. And then that's where a switch flipped in my head. I'm like, all right, be a little bit of a dick, Alex. This is going to be funny. And I'm like, well, then don't sit down. And then he goes, no one is going to tell me if I can or can't sit down. I'm like, well, there's only two options, man. Take a pick. He's like, I'm going to roll you down this fucking stairs. I'm like, I don't roll. I flop. And he just keeps on yelling and calling me a prick and an asshole. I'm like, and then I just start laughing at him and pointing at him and smiling. And then you ever done that to someone?
Oh, yeah.
That is fucking mad and wants to kill you? It makes them even more mad. I'm laughing at him because I'm just like, and I'm waiting for him to hit me. I'm like, I'm okay with whatever outcome. I don't want to fight, but if it has to happen, like, I'm not going to get beat up. Like, I'm going to defend myself. But I'm not like, all I'm doing is laughing at him. And then I kind of look back behind me and I have to add, Tony just fucking took off. Tony was like, boop, I'm out of here. He ran down the stairs. I look back and everyone's just looking at me like this, like, because no one can hear what we're talking about because the music's loud. So all it looks like is a fight's going to happen. And it almost did. But all that was happening is they were yelling at the side of my face and I was pointing and laughing at them.
Right.
Yeah. So we sat back down. The other two people, our friends, like, went back to their seats. And one of our friends sat where I was sitting, and I was sitting next to you, so I didn't have to sit next to those guys. And the whole time Korn was playing, I don't know if you noticed, but they were looking at me, flipping me off.
Yeah.
And I just kept on looking at them and smiling, and then they were even getting more mad still. Oh.
Yeah.
So what was your...
All right, so I was on the other end in the aisle, and as I said, all night long, I was getting up, moving out of the way, getting in and out of the aisle, sitting on the stairs, all that shit. And I look over, and I didn't see anybody fall over or anything. I just saw the aftermath of people cleaning beer off of them or whatever, and you're like, this dude's drunk, he's fallen over. I know you had a loud guy on your hands over there, but I didn't really know what was going on. I'm the furthest one away from the situation in the aisle. So then I heard you say something about, I'm not letting this dude come sit down and all this. And then your buddy invited those girls to sit in the seats. And I was like, this has turned into a situation. Like, it wasn't anyone's fault. It was just kind of like,
yeah,
it was just kind of piling on top of the other one. And I was like, and you were like, I'm not letting this guy sit here again. And I was like, okay. So then these dudes come up the stairs and you come at me and you're like, I'm coming. I'm getting in there. And I was like, oh, I'll go in the aisle again. And so I just moved into the aisle. I really didn't know what was about to happen.
Right.
I didn't, no fucking idea. I was like, all right, Tony's back in the aisle. So I just sit back in the aisle. I'm sitting on the seats, holding on to the fucking handrail, and you're talking. And then I'm like, and then the other dude comes up, and I'm like, God damn it, we're all blocking traffic. So I moved. I have this paranoia about blocking people's show. I hate that. So I'm like, people are behind me. I'm in their way all night long. So I moved down like one stair just to kind of get out of the way. I'm like, fuck, they're talking and I'm in everyone's way. I don't know how to get out of where do I go? So I just went down the fucking stairs and I was like, and all I did was turn around and I was watching. I was like, oh shit, is this a fight? And I was just standing there. I'm like, those girls are still sitting there. He's laughing. It's like, what's going on? And so I tell guest services, because I work guest services at another venue. I'm like, hey, yo, up there, get up there. I'm like, right there, go. And the woman's up there and they're talking. I was like, I said, all I told myself was, if they hit him, they got to come down the stairs. I'll be here. I'm good. He ain't going nowhere. I'm looking at the whole thing. But that was it. And then they all started doing whatever and they started sitting down. I was like, I'm going to get a fucking T-shirt. But I thought about it the rest of the night, and I know that I look like I left. In all fairness, if I just didn't know where to go. I was like, hey, I'll tussle if we need to tussle. Just tell me we need to fight. I'll fight. Fuck it. The Blazers suck anyway. I'm not going to miss that much in here if they kick me out for life. But I just didn't know. And I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs just looking like, oh, my friends are going to fight, and I'm going to get to watch. That wasn't the plan, but I just didn't have anywhere to go. I was like, God damn it.
You see, yeah, there's definitely a time to, like, defend your friend, for sure. But this is one of these times where it was all stupid, and it was really a thing where I was definitely antagonizing them by laughing and pointing at them. Like
when I saw the laughing, I was like, I think we're okay.
Yeah, it definitely didn't help, but
if anybody started swinging, trust me, I can climb stairs real fast. It's not a problem.
I'm glad it didn't because there's no way, like, if I actually got in a fight, there's no way I wouldn't go to jail for the night because we're at the Moda Center. There's no way that. I did think about this though. They do have metal detectors. So, at least I can know that they probably don't have a knife or a gun.
Thank God for that.
You know what I mean?
Really. That's what's scary about my gig is we don't have them yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when I go break up fights, I have no idea what I'm getting into. And I think about this from time to time. I don't know why I think about this, but I think I've told you this story that I served with a guy in the military. His name was Aaron. And he got out of the military. And if you remember, Dimebag Darrell got killed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was working guest services, and he was one of the guys that got shot and killed. So I think about that from time to time, and I'm like, I'm not in that different of a situation. Yeah. So from that perspective, when I was downstairs, I was like, hey, guest services, fuck up there. What are you doing? And she's looking at me like. And just looked at the show again. I'm like, stop acting like me at work and go do your job. It was whatever. All I got to say is luckily they have metal detectors because they don't have enough staff.
Right. They don't. Yeah, I know.
So
right.
You could fuck up your whole life in there just by swinging on somebody. And God knows if they fall down, they break their neck. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in there. And you could fuck up yourself for good. And they're not going to be able to help you. Because there's one of them for every entry point around, and that's about it. And they ain't seeing shit because they're really watching the show. Yeah. That's the truth. Yeah. I saw the back of the head, not the front. So that's how I know.
Well, I'm glad that you sent her up because, like, she did eventually come up, and it's probably why an actual fight didn't happen. Because, like, at first she tried to kick me out because she only heard his story, and I was like, no. This guy, his friend, spilled beer on like 3 people and fell into their lap. And then he's supposed to come back and sit down. That's all I was saying to them, is that he shouldn't sit next to me. I don't want him to sit next to me, and he should probably leave. And she's like, I guess he just did my job. Like, you did. Right? And I know, that's what I mean. It's like, on paper, I look like an asshole, and I am. But in what is right and wrong in the world, why in the fuck should he sit down? He ruined people's night. Fucking leave.
And in hindsight, the people who had the beer dumped on them should have gotten the fuck up, told guest services what happened, pointed him out, and said, I'm not sitting here if you're going to let him back up there. I need to be reseated. That's all you have to say. I will not sit there. We just got beer spilled on us by someone who's been overly served, and I'm not sitting there again. Yeah. That's the gentleman right there. That guest services is like, all right, he's out. We'll clean up your seats. It's done. But like you said, they passively just dealt with it. So, I mean, guest services can't see everybody in there.
No, and there's no way. I mean, there's so many people.
You're supposed to go tell them when something happens.
Yeah.
And I guess the only thing that we could have done better, since those people who got the shit dumped on them didn't say anything, is that we could have said something.
Right.
And until I realized that something was actually fucking happening, then I was like, and I had to stand in the stairs anyway. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just go tell the chick, hey, get the fuck up there. You know? And so that's what I did. But I know it really looked like, there's a fight. Where's Tony? He's gone.
No,
I swear to God.
I thought it was funny because it's not like there was so many people. If a fight actually did happen, there were so many people. And there was a guy that I saw in the corner of my eye that was fucking huge. And he was staring at me. He was actually the only one that I was worried about. I was like, that guy, if he decides to kill all 3 of us, he will. And I was like, he could just kill all 3 of us. So I was looking at him. I was like, I was like looking at him. I was like, and he was fucking just, he saw it. he knew what was going on.
Right.
But anyway, his show was fun. That actually made it a little funner. Like, getting in like a stupid, like, macho fucking altercation at a Korn show. The only thing that would have topped that is if it was at a Limp Bizkit show. Like,
oh God,
it was like, you know, like
we're reliving Woodstock '99.
So yeah, so you know what I got out of it. It was stupid macho shit. I wasn't completely in the right. It was a misunderstanding, and it was a good show. It was your rules, and I'm glad it was over. That's it.
And you 3 were so fucking like jacked after that. It was hilarious because you're like, I was ready to fucking kick ass. And all 3 of you guys were drinking, and I'm over here. I mean, I smoked a bowl, 8 gummies. You know, I'm over here like, wee. Yeah. So y'all are like, I'm like, fucking yeah, and I'm just like, hey man, you guys need a ride? I can drive. Y'all look like you just got out of the fucking rink for WWE, and I'm just like, hey, I'll be your chauffeur.
Yeah, I mean, we were, you know, we're guys, got a little testosterone, it's coming up. We're like, yeah, fucking.
Well, you talk about, like, just, I know this can go over. I just have to say this. I haven't been to a hardcore rock show in a long time where there was a lot of people, and the lights were up so you could see everybody in the concourse. But we saw a couple of women that wore outfits, and I was just like, holy shit. Wow. Like, to the point of, like, everyone in there knew they weren't supposed to stare. The outfit might as well have just said, it's okay to stare. Yeah. Because there's no way not to. It was like the coolest pot plant that was ready to fuck. It was just like, everything I like is right here. Like, I can't not look at this. It was just amazing. I'm glad. I don't mean this in a bad way. We know that we're supposed to be respectful as men when we see that. And we were. But I've never seen a cuter outfit. I was just like, oh my God. If I owned that fucking thing. It's dark in all the right places and light in all the right ones. Oh my God. Oh my God. So it was a rock and roll night. I had a fucking great time. I'm glad you all almost got into a tussle, because then we wouldn't have the last 25 minutes of our show. So it all worked out. It was fucking great. It was a good time. Your friends are awesome. It was fun as hell. Seriously. Couldn't have gone any better, the way I see it.
Yeah.
Considering how it went, we did very well. We survived.
Yeah, we did. It was it's a good time. So we did go a little long with the Korn and the Ghost Share. So what you want to mention the article, or
I mean,
you want to save it?
I mean, anyway, so we like to have an unfortunate topic, and I found a quick article. Basically, said that a gentleman in Sweden was able to receive disability benefits from his country because he's gone to over 300 metal shows in 1 year time span, which will not allow him to keep or hold down a job. So you heard that right. His addiction to metal is being funded by his government because I guess it's considered some sort of disability or something like that. Mm-hmm. So he's getting disability benefits because he can't go to work because he's going to too many fucking metal shows.
That's such a Swedish, Scandinavian sort of, because that's where that's like the birthplace of metal, in my opinion. That's such a, in America, it's heart attack, fucking diabetes, like all this stuff. And, over that side of the world, they're like, we listen to too much metal. I got to stay home.
Well, what's funny is he's going to get disability for going to too many metal shows. And in a few years, he's going to get disability because he lost his fucking hearing from going to too many metal shows.
Yeah.
So he's locked in. If you like fucking the system, pay attention to this guy. Like you said earlier, the hot coffee thing that we were talking about, it's the same idea. He found a way to fuck the system. It's just a unique way to fuck him. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you screwed him with 2 dicks. That's neat. I didn't know you could do that. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good thing, but it's a human thing.
Yeah.
To get one over on your government. Good for you, I guess. High five.
And since it is an unfortunate topic, I'll try to explain what I think is the other end. And listen, look at this. See this? You see how you can't tell what it says? Yeah, because it's a metal band. It looks like it's written in twigs and other tree branches and dirt. It's like you could tell this is a metal band because you can't read what it says.
Right.
So I love metal, obviously. But it's not what I think, but it's the other side of the sword is he's claiming in the article that he has an addiction to going to see metal shows, right?
Right.
That's the verbiage he used was put it as an addiction. So, in a way, someone could spin that and say addictions are bad. All the old people being older people, like 70 years old, people that say violent video games make people do violent things, heavy music makes people do violent things, and you can have an addiction to it. Addictions are bad. There's that side. And there's that side of being doing the thing, like people suing McDonald's or whatever because the coffee's too hot and getting a bunch of money. That's great. You're fucking the system. But also, you're kind of making a problem that really isn't there, I think.
You've opened a new door.
Yeah. Coffee's too hot? Won't you... Wait a second. Going to too many metal shows? Maybe you should be my back hurts. Maybe I should not go to so many metal shows. No, I'm addicted. No, you're not. You're not addicted to going to metal shows. You just like metal, and you like seeing it live.
Right.
Oh, you're up there in your hot air balloon, the 1%er. You've got that much money to spend. Good for you, but how about you fucking not for a second? Take care of yourself and, hold it together. Don't drop everything and just run out the door.
I mean, if my theory is this, it's hey, if you're going to 300 metal shows a year, pick up a fucking camera and take some pictures. Turn it into your side hustle. Make money doing it. If you're going to that many, ask to work there for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
I work at a venue. Work at the fucking venue, genius.
Yeah.
You'll see all the shows and you'll get paid. Hello? Yep. You don't have to just, you know, tell your government I'm fucked up. Like, I mean, but at the same time, what's the difference between that and a million people out in America who listen to plenty of different types of music, who are hooked on their type of music, who are on food stamps? Same fucking thing, right?
It is.
I need assistance. I love music. Like, yeah, I get it, but whatever. He found another way to stick it in the government's ass. Like, the only thing is like you said, if more people could expose that, it makes us look bad. But I think it makes that person independently look stupid the most.
For sure.
Because no one's forcing you to go to 300 fucking metal shows a year.
Yeah.
That's your decision. You're addicted. Yeah, well, I'm addicted to suffering, but I keep living. You know what I mean? Shit happens. Like,
yeah.
Oh, well, fucking boo-hoo. Like, no one really cares.
Yeah.
It's just silly. The government's like, yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll do it. Like, really? I'm moving to Sweden. This is too easy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good on that person, but also makes them look kind of stupid, in my opinion. But also, it's just like the longer I live, the more I realize there's not one right answer. There's so many different angles, and if you just go, "This is how it is," like, in my opinion, you're wrong. But then who am I to say that, right? You know, it's just like there's a lot of different answers. There's no one right answer. Good on you. You made it work. But also maybe you're a pussy. I don't know.
Well, that's why it's unfortunate. There's nothing you can really do about it. You know, it's just a new angle, and it's unfortunate, but we can't fix it. It just is what it is. It's another dude who found a loophole, like, right on. And a government who's passive enough to put up with that shit. You know, like, that's it. Good for them.
Right.
You got it? You're over there shaking around.
I know I'm having technical difficulties, Tony.
I'm gonna fucking throw up on my computer. You keep spinning us around.
This is like the Blair Witch Project. This is unfortunate.
Hold it steady. I'm freaking out. Oh shit. All right, so we're just a full-on music show today. We're down towards the tail end of our show, and if you watched it before, you know the deal. We pick a song, we spun the wheel, we landed on Loretta Lynn this week. The song was Fist City, and I'm the one who put it on the wheel, so I get to ask Alex what he thought of it first.
So honestly, it was a lot. That song's a lot more badass than I thought it was gonna be.
Yes.
Because she's like, okay, so the whole theme of the song, it's called Fist City, and it's not about that.
Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna go a different direction.
Got y'all excited.
When like everything we're talking about just kind of fits all together. We're talking about a fight that almost happened, and then the song's called Fist City.
Yeah.
And the song's about her kicking another lady's ass for messing around with her man.
Yep.
Like, if you want to, and it's about telling the said woman who was messing around or was trying to mess around with her man is telling everyone about it, and she's like, if you don't keep your mouth shut, you're gonna come to Fist City. And
I love it.
Yeah.
So good. Cause I'll grab you by the hair of the head and lift you off of the ground. And she's singing that beautifully.
Yeah. And I just gotta say, it'd be good to lift you up by the hair of your head right now. Yeah.
It's like someone's been doing that to me for years.
Yeah, I know.
Ain't much left.
And there's some really funny lines in that song. Like, she's saying she's talking about how the woman's trash, and she's like, when my man sees trash, he usually puts it in the garbage can. Yeah.
You've been making your brags around town that you've been loving my man, but the man I love, when he picks up trash, puts it in a garbage can, and that's what you look like to me, and that's what I see as a pity. You better close your face and stay out of my way if you don't want to go to Fist City. Fucking A, man. That is the shit. I don't know why every woman everywhere, because women tend to get jealous, don't have that song right there in their head. Like, that is, Loretta Lynn took care of it for all of you. It's so catchy. So fucking, like, the country that I love, right? I mean, you won't hear me say this a lot, but I do like country music. I was brought up on it. I was brought up on 80s, 90s country, which you got to hear the older shit on the radio because they mixed it up. So I heard some Loretta Lynn and whatnot, but no, I didn't really recognize it. But this is my favorite type. This outlaw. This fits into outlaw country in my book. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. So it's so good. I mean, Loretta Lynn became popular in the mid 2000s because Jack White, linked up with her. They did some songs together. He brought her back into the mainstream, whatever. But she'd already been there for years, just in the country realm. Cool fucking story about Loretta. I mean, her history, the coal miner's daughter. I'm sure if you know a little bit, you've heard of that. Right. From Butcher Holler, Kentucky or Tennessee or some shit, and then moved out to Washington fucking state. Got married when she was like 15 or some shit. Mm-hmm. So girl's been through some shit and wrote about it beautifully. So easy to understand. Like, you want to laugh, but at the same time in that song, you're like, yeah, I want to fuck somebody up.
Yeah.
She's sweet about it, but she's also got that fuck you, like, right behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's like, I'm smiling, bitch, but I ain't playing.
Yeah, I'll fuck you up.
Fuck you up. That was just the first. I'm not going to sing the whole song or anything, but I mean, let me see. Cat around with the kitty. You won't lay off my man. Yeah. I'll show you what. Yeah, come on and tell me what you told my friends.
Yeah. Right.
If you think you're brave enough. And I'll show you what a real woman is, since you think you're hot stuff. You'll bite off more than you can chew. If you get too cute or witty, you better move your feet if you don't want to eat a meal that's called Fist City.
Yeah, I know. I love that part. If you don't want to eat a meal that's called Fist City.
Come on, man. That is so fucking good.
Yeah.
I love that. Because if you've ever hung out down south, people have a really creative way of saying clever shit it's just real basic like that. Right. Like, they're going to say, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. I'm going to take you to Fist City. Like, yeah, punch me in the mouth after you said that. I deserve it. That's great. Fist City. God damn it. Why aren't there a million songs like that? There are. Like Johnny, like, it reminds me of Johnny Paycheck's Take This Job and Shove It. They're telling a story, but they're also telling you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like, and they're telling it in like in a relatable way that
very relatable,
that everyone thinks about. Like, like I often will play Johnny Paycheck's song at work.
I used to sell Bluetooth speakers at the store doing that shit, and the boss is like, "What the
fuck?" Yeah, it's a good song. What do you want?
It sells.
Yeah. But no, Fist City is a really good song. I didn't think I was gonna like connect with the lyrics as much as I thought I was going to. And I think they're funny, and she's got a really, really pretty voice.
Yes,
she's a really good singer. The music is good. It's old country. It's good music. The song is like funny, but also badass. Like, because when was that song? When did that come out? Like, she was born in the 30s. She looked really young in the picture. I'm sure it came out in the 70s, early 70s, maybe earlier, maybe 6. I don't know. But
I'm trying.
Yeah, I think it's pretty
1968.
Yep. I was going to say it's pretty safe to say 65 to 75. But yeah, it's for that time, just saying, hey, I'm going to kick your ass. Like, that's fucking, it's pretty dope.
Well, I mean, you listen to songs now, if there's I haven't heard, I don't listen to a lot of female artists who talk about cheating or any of that shit, but this is the first one I heard where I'm like, this is an anthem. Why doesn't every woman who's ever been pissed, I mean, every woman jealousy. Hello. So that's an anthem for every woman I've ever met. Be like, yeah, right? And somebody fucks around with someone you love, you're going to want to beat the shit out of them. Well, here you go. Loretta Lynn took care of it for you. You know, you can listen to this while you're loading up your shotgun. I'm just kidding. But I'm with you, Loretta.
I'm with you, Loretta. I looked her up today, and she died a couple years, like 2 years ago, or 2022, and
90 years old.
Yeah, 90 years old, and I don't know much about it. And just on Wikipedia, it just says when she was born, when she died, and then usually it says the cause of death, you know, and it just says hurricane.
Nuh-uh. On the internet, it says she died in her sleep. In a hurricane. Sure is windy. I'm going to bed.
Yeah. And in Tennessee or something like that, like Missouri, Tennessee or some shit, like that's where, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, I don't know if she lived in Nashville, but that's where, you know, she probably lived in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I looked at the wrong thing, but that's what I saw. It said hurricane.
Oh, okay. I literally read on Spotify, says she died in her sleep. So I'm thinking it both happened. Like, seriously, I ain't leaving. Just like those people in Florida. We're staying.
I know, right?
Okay.
All right.
Like, where'd you find her? Well, she was in bed, but she was floating.
It's kind of like when that kind of, I always get reminded of Sam Kinnison's joke where he's talking about people in Africa.
No, don't say it. Yeah. Send them where the food is.
Go where the food is. Like, go where the hurricanes are not. Just for a little bit. Just go over there and then come back. Like
it's a desert. You got to send them trucks and boxes and suitcases and get them the fuck out of here. Yeah.
I know it's a different thing, but that's what it reminds. I think of his joke beautiful. when I see this. But yeah, Loretta Lynn, Fifth City, awesome.
Yeah.
To me, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, man, that's me. I found this song a year ago and couldn't stop telling people about it, and nobody wanted to listen to me. So I'm glad. I hope someone listens to it on the show.
I'm listening. Yeah, it's a good song. It's fun.
It's fine. It's like 2.5 minutes long. It's catchy as fuck. It's great for ADD. Anyone can handle it, and anyone can fucking get it. Easy.
Before we logged on, before we clocked in, I listened to it like 4 times. You know, it's good.
It's so fun. It makes me laugh. Like it's like laughing at domestic violence.
Which
this was the
funny
60s.
Already.
It was okay.
It's still funny. It's not. It is. It's not funny. It's not funny.
But I want that shit on. I want it on vinyl. I want that record. I do.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. That was great.
I have to admit, I haven't listened to anything else, or not knowingly. I didn't know I was listening to her if I have heard her. I've on purpose listened to anything else. So,
well, that's all from Spotify's algorithm right there. Just sending me shit, and if I hear something, even if it's on low volume at work, I'm like, hold on a second, and I save that fucker and I go listen to it. So I'm glad you liked it. Seriously, man, it's country. We don't always cover country, especially not old school. But a good song is a good song in my book. So. Yeah, man. You got the wheel?
So there's a little story about this that I actually forgot to tell you. The wheel is in the shop. It's broken. So, and I'm sorry, it's very unprofessional, but we're keeping all our integrity of the show, which is no integrity on my part at least. So as we were talking about Fifth City, I ripped up a bunch of papers that have numbers from 1 to 10. And I got a little hat here. So we'll pull a number out of a hat.
Okay. So I have to say this, though. We did not fill in the blank for Loretta Lynn. So here's what we're left with right now. We have Tupac with Only God Can Judge Me. That'll be number 2. Number 3 is Salt with Wildfires. Number 5 is Phenomena with Muscle and Flow. Number 6 is Metallica, Call of... whatever, we'll figure it. Cataloo, fuck it. 7, cattle decapitation, karma bloody karma. 9 is buzzard fight with New World Vultures, and 10 is Sharon Jones with Pass Me By. So if you pick up a number that's nothing on it, then we'll draw again.
Okay. Let's spin this hat.
Shake it, shake it, shake it. Take it to Fist City. Punch the hat.
10.
Sharon Jones, Pass Me By.
Sharon Jones. Cool.
So we're going from one female artist talking about cheating on their ass and getting beat your ass kicked for cheating on her man. Now we're going to listen to a song about what happens when a bitch has had enough of you and left your ass.
Hey, I'm glad that we're staying kind of on theme in a way. You know, that's
hey, this is God's work, man. We just wrote he picked the number. We didn't do any of this shit. It's all him. He's putting this. Thank you, Lord. But and thank you all for watching this fucking show for as long as you have. This is episode 165.
Oh wow, hell yeah!
Thank you.
And when Tony said Lord, he meant like y'all, like the royal Lord. You know, like we are God. So that's what you are Lord. Praise you.
I always hear it down here. What does that mean?
That means you're going to hell.
Warm down there.
Oh, it's nice this time of year. Well, we completed it. We did it. We did. We got through it. Ups and downs. A lot of ups. A lot of what have yous. What have yous. I got a rash, man. That being said, if you'd like to make a suggestion for a song from a musician, a band, or what have you, you can go to Instagram. Hitfoo69 is our page. You could direct message us, leave a suggestion for a song. Also, you could go to YouTube, the most recent episode, and in the comment section, leave your suggestion for a song. That all being said, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.